You won't believe what just happened live. Paddy Pimblett completely lost it after Dana White dropped a bombshell nobody saw coming. I'm talking about a meltdown so real, so raw. It had fans gasping and UFC insiders scrambling behind the scenes. Imagine sitting there, thinking everything's normal, and BM, Dana casually drops secret info that nobody was supposed to hear. And Paddy? Man, his reaction was like watching a ticking time bomb explode in real time. He went from calm to furious in seconds. I heard him say, "How could you betray me like this? And you've been lying to all of us." All on live TV. The room got so tense, even the cameraman couldn't look away. This wasn't just drama, it was a full-on emotional breakdown. People are saying this could end Paddy's career or turn the whole UFC upside down. But what exactly did Dana leak? And why did it hit Paddy so hard? Alright, listen up because this is where things start to get really wild. For those who don't know, Paddy Pimblett, aka the Baddie, is no stranger to controversy. From his early days, he's been the fighter who's never afraid to speak his mind, throw punches inside and outside the cage, and challenge the whole UFC establishment. But behind that cocky smile and viral promos, there's been tension simmering for months, tension most fans didn't even realize was there. Dana White, the UFC president, has always had a complicated relationship with Paddy. On one hand, Dana knows Paddy is a star maker, a guy who sells fights and gets people talking. But on the other hand, Dana's notorious for controlling his fighters and keeping tight reins on who gets what opportunity. And that right there has been the root of the problem. Sources close to the UFC insider circle have been leaking whispers for weeks. They say Dana's camp has been quietly sidelining Paddy, ignoring his requests for big fights, and pushing him aside for fighters who play by the rules. Why? Because Paddy isn't just a fighter, he's a rebel. A guy who calls out the UFC when he's unhappy. And that kind of attitude? Dana hates it. Now, here's where it gets really crazy. Rumors started swirling that Dana White recently leaked some secret info, something about Paddy's contract, his management, and a deal that was never supposed to go public. Imagine this. Behind closed doors, Dana was planning to cut Paddy out of the biggest upcoming UFC events. The reason? They didn't trust Paddy to behave or stay in line. Not only that, but insiders say Dana's team was negotiating with rival organizations to take Paddy's spotlight away from the UFC entirely. If true, this is more than just backstage politics, it's a full-on betrayal. And it's no surprise Paddy found out. When Dana dropped those leaked details live on air, in a moment that shocked everyone, Paddy was blindsided. This wasn't just about business. It was personal. Remember, Paddy's been vocal about his loyalty to his fans and his family in the UFC. But Dana's move revealed a cold, harsh truth. The UFC brass was ready to toss him aside if he didn't fit their mold. That revelation alone was enough to crack Paddy's composure, but what made it even worse were the details that followed. Dana implied there were issues with Paddy's attitude and even hinted at contractual clauses Paddy allegedly broke, things Paddy's camp vigorously denies. According to sources inside Paddy's team, this was a calculated move by Dana to undermine Paddy's credibility and take control of the narrative before Paddy could fight back publicly. Meanwhile, social media was already buzzing with speculation. Fans started digging into old interviews, tweets, and controversial moments in Paddy's career, trying to piece together why Dana would suddenly reveal this info on live TV. Some believe it's a power play to intimidate Paddy into silence. Others think it's the start of a much bigger war that could change the UFC landscape forever. One thing's for sure, this drama has roots going back years. Paddy's rise wasn't smooth. His outspoken nature rubbed many UFC veterans the wrong way. Some insiders even say there were whispers of a secret blacklist fighters Dana considered too disruptive to be promoted as stars. Paddy was allegedly on that list for a long time, but his raw talent and fan base kept him afloat. Now, with Dana's shocking leak, it feels like that blacklist might finally be coming into effect. But Paddy isn't someone to back down easily. Sources close to him say he's gearing up for a massive public response, one that could expose more UFC secrets and potentially blow the lid off how things really work behind the scenes. And it's not just Dana and Paddy in this fight. Other UFC fighters and insiders are starting to pick sides. There's talk of alliances forming, secret meetings happening, and some fighters quietly offering support to Paddy, while others are urged to stay loyal to Dana. This isn't just a personal feud, it's a full-blown clash shaking the very core of MMA's biggest promotion. If you thought the drama ended with Dana's leak, think again. The entire MMA world is on edge, waiting for Paddy's next move, and trust me, he's got plenty up his sleeve. This is the kind of drama that doesn't just make headlines, it redefines careers and reshapes the entire sport. So, what happens next? Will Paddy fight back with his signature fire? Will Dana double down and try to silence him for good? Or is this just the calm before an even more explosive storm? It all blew up during a live UFC press conference that nobody expected to turn into a battlefield. The tension was thick the moment Paddy Pimblett walked in. Everyone could feel it. The atmosphere was electric, but not in a good way. Dana White was already seated, a sly grin playing on his lips, and it was clear he had something to drop that would set off a chain reaction no one saw coming. As the cameras rolled and the questions started flying, Dana suddenly went off script. Without warning, he leaned into the mic and said, "We've got some insider info about Paddy Pimblett's contract, and honestly, it's worse than anyone imagined." The room fell silent, jaws dropped, and Paddy's face went from confident to confused in seconds. Then Dana hit the bombshell. Details leaked from Paddy's management about missed deadlines, alleged unprofessional behavior, and worst of all, a secret clause allowing Dana's team to bench Paddy indefinitely if he stepped out of line. The crowd gasped. Reporters scrambled to write it down. And Paddy? He sat frozen for a moment, then exploded. "That's bullst. Asterisk, asterisk," Paddy yelled, slamming his fist on the table. "You're trying to ruin me in front of everyone. I've been loyal, busting my ass, and this is how you repay me." Cameras caught the raw emotion as Paddy's voice cracked with anger and disbelief. "I'm done playing games with you and your puppet masters." What happened next was pure chaos. Dana fired back with a cold smirk. "Loyal? You've been causing trouble backstage, breaking rules, and disrespecting your team. This isn't about punishment. It's about keeping the UFC's integrity." But insiders say this integrity talk was just a cover for Dana's real motive, control. Suddenly, Paddy pulled out his phone and slammed it on the table. "Here's the proof," he said, showing a series of leaked text messages between Dana's team and a rival promotion, the kind of secret deal that could get Dana fired if it got out. "You think you can just push me out quietly? I'm exposing everything." The room erupted. Reporters buzzed, fighters backstage whispered furiously, and social media exploded within minutes. This wasn't just a contract dispute anymore, it was a full-scale war. Dana White's power, reputation, and the UFC's future were on the line. But here's the twist that nobody expected. Just as Paddy was gaining momentum, a mysterious insider released a private video clip online, allegedly showing Paddy himself backstage at a party, mocking the UFC brass, insulting fellow fighters, and hinting at throwing fights for money. The clip went viral in seconds, dividing fans and fighters alike. Was this a setup? Or did Paddy's own demons just surface? Fans flooded Twitter with heated debates. Some believed the clip was doctored, a smear campaign to destroy Paddy's credibility. Others thought it was proof that Paddy was the real problem behind the scenes. Even top UFC fighters weighed in, and the division was clear no one knew who to trust anymore. Meanwhile, Dana White kept stoking the fire. He gave an exclusive interview claiming Paddy's behavior is why no one wants to work with him. This isn't just about fights, it's about respect. But rumors swirled that Dana was using this drama to distract from bigger UFC problems, from failed negotiations with sponsors to internal conflicts that could threaten the whole organization. Backstage, tensions boiled over. Reports surfaced that several fighters had confronted Paddy, accusing him of being reckless and unprofessional. But Paddy's supporters weren't backing down either. Some called him a hero for standing up to a billion-dollar empire. Others saw him as a loose cannon about to implode. Just when everyone thought the drama couldn't get worse, Paddy dropped another bomb, a leaked audio message where Dana allegedly admitted to playing dirty to keep Paddy in line, including threats to blacklist him from future events. This leak changed the narrative completely and put Dana on the defensive. The UFC was now a war zone. Sponsors started pulling ads. Broadcasters were nervous. And fans? They were glued to every update, retweet, and reaction, desperate for the next shocking development. So, what's really going on here? Is Paddy Pimblett the victim of a ruthless power play, or is he spiraling out of control? Will Dana White's empire survive this storm, or is the UFC facing its biggest crisis ever? One thing's for sure, this scandal has only just begun. And the next twist? Well, it's going to blow everything wide open. Just when the world thought the Paddy Pimblett and Dana White saga couldn't get any more explosive, things took a jaw-dropping turn that nobody saw coming. Social media was already buzzing with the leaked texts and audio messages, but suddenly, another secret slipped out, and this one threatens to tear the entire UFC apart. An anonymous source close to Dana White's inner circle leaked private emails revealing a secret blacklist, a hit list of fighters who have fallen out of favor with UFC management. And guess who topped that list? You guessed it, Paddy Pimblett. But that's not all. The emails exposed plans to pressure sponsors and broadcasters to distance themselves from Paddy, effectively blackballing him from the sport's biggest stages. The UFC wasn't just sidelining Paddy, they were systematically trying to erase him. The leak sent shockwaves through the MMA community. Fighters who once hesitated to speak up suddenly found their voices, sharing their own stories of backstage politics, favoritism, and intimidation. Fans exploded in outrage, flooding hashtags with #FreePaddy and demanding transparency from the UFC. Meanwhile, Dana White's camp fired back hard, calling the leaks fabricated lies and accusing Paddy's team of orchestrating a smear campaign to generate sympathy. But the damage was done, the public's trust was shaken, and the controversy spiraled beyond anyone's control. In the middle of this chaos, Paddy released a devastating video message from an undisclosed location. His eyes burned with fury and pain as he detailed years of being held back, disrespected, and silenced by the very organization that was supposed to support him. "They want to break me, but they don't know who they're messing with," he said. "I'm not just fighting in the cage anymore. This is a fight for my career, my dignity, and the truth." This raw, emotional message quickly went viral, rallying fans and fighters alike. Several high-profile UFC athletes publicly showed support for Paddy, some even hinting at forming a coalition to challenge Dana's authority. But here's where it gets even crazier. Just hours after Paddy's video dropped, a shocking report emerged that Dana White was secretly negotiating a massive multi-fight deal with a rival promotion, one that could effectively split the MMA world and redefine the sport's future. Industry insiders speculate that Dana's aggressive stance against Paddy was less about discipline and more about power. By sidelining rebels like Paddy, Dana may be trying to consolidate control as new challengers threaten his UFC empire. The MMA world is now at a crossroads. With fighters divided, fans outraged, and the UFC's reputation hanging by a thread, everyone's waiting to see who will blink first in this high-stakes showdown. One thing's crystal clear, the story of Paddy Pimblett versus Dana White is far from over. And the next revelation? It's coming fast, and it will change everything. As the Paddy Pimblett and Dana White saga exploded across the MMA world, the reactions were nothing short of electrifying and completely divided. Social media turned into a battleground, with every tweet, comment, and post fueling the firestorm. Within minutes of the leaks and Paddy's raw, emotional video going viral, hashtags like #FreePaddy and #DanaExposed began trending worldwide. Fans flooded platforms, unleashing waves of support and anger. Some called Paddy a warrior fighting against a corrupt system, while others slammed him as a troublemaker who brought chaos to the sport. But it wasn't just the fans who weighed in, the MMA industry itself was shaken to its core. Top fighters, commentators, and insiders took to Twitter and Instagram, breaking their usual silence to pick sides in what's quickly become MMA's most explosive feud. One high-profile UFC fighter, whose name is closely guarded, hinted at deep-rooted corruption behind the scenes. "This isn't just about Paddy," they said cryptically. "It's about power, control, and who gets to decide who rises and who falls." UFC's biggest secrets are finally coming to light. Meanwhile, some legendary fighters known for their loyalty to Dana White voiced skepticism, warning fans not to jump to conclusions without all the facts. But even their words couldn't silence the growing chorus of voices demanding transparency and accountability. Celebrities outside the MMA world caught wind of the controversy and joined the debate, magnifying the spotlight on the UFC's internal drama. One popular rapper tweeted, "If Paddy's got dirt on the UFC, then let it all out. Fighters deserve better than this shady business." Another influencer called the scandal the biggest shakeup in combat sports history. Traditional sports media outlets scrambled to cover the story, with breaking news segments, explosive opinion pieces, and live panel discussions dissecting every leaked message and allegation. Analysts debated whether Dana White's empire was finally cracking under pressure, or if this was a calculated power move to silence dissent. But perhaps the most shocking public reaction came from Paddy's own teammates and coaches, some of whom issued statements defending his character and work ethic while condemning the UFC's treatment of him. One coach revealed private conversations where Paddy expressed frustration over being manipulated and controlled by the UFC brass. Adding fuel to the fire, several sponsors and advertisers quietly started distancing themselves from the UFC amid fears their brands would be tarnished by association. Industry insiders say some major deals are now on the chopping block unless the UFC addresses the controversy head-on. To make matters even more intense, a leaked private chat between Dana White and a top executive suggested plans to double down on controlling fighter narratives, possibly escalating tensions with other outspoken athletes. The leaked text included a chilling line, "We can't let anyone else turn into a Paddy Pimblett. Control the story or lose control of the sport." Fans watching this unfold were left with one burning question: is this just the tip of the iceberg? Are there more fighters secretly suffering behind closed doors? And if the UFC can silence Paddy, who's next? The division is clear. Supporters are rallying behind Paddy's fight for justice, while critics warn of the chaos this drama could bring to the sport's future. What's undeniable is that the UFC's image has taken a serious hit, and the damage may take years to repair. Just when everyone thought this storm couldn't grow any darker, a bombshell dropped that sent shockwaves through the entire MMA world, and it came from the least expected place. Late last night, an explosive leak surfaced revealing that Paddy Pimblett had secretly been in contact with a powerful rival promotion, one that's been quietly building its own empire and is ready to challenge Dana White's UFC dominance. The leaked messages showed Paddy negotiating a groundbreaking multi-fight deal, promising freedom from the UFC's iron grip and full creative control over his career. But that's not the kicker. What truly rocked the MMA universe was a confidential clause in the deal. Paddy was prepared to publicly expose years of corruption, favoritism, and manipulation inside the UFC. Information so damning that insiders say it could destroy Dana White's career and legacy. The UFC's PR machine immediately went into overdrive, scrambling to contain the fallout. But the damage was irreversible. Fans exploded online, demanding answers and transparency, while Dana White's closest allies started distancing themselves amid fears of being implicated. Then came the shocking revelation no one saw coming. An anonymous whistleblower from inside the UFC released documents proving that Dana White personally authorized covert surveillance on Paddy and other fighters, spying on their private conversations, medical records, and even personal lives. This wasn't just management, it was a full-blown invasion of privacy aimed at controlling and intimidating fighters. The UFC responded with a terse statement denying all allegations, calling them baseless and defamatory. But the backlash had already begun. Legal experts weighed in, hinting at massive lawsuits and potential federal investigations. Fighters across the board expressed outrage, some threatening to boycott upcoming events in solidarity with Paddy. Amid the chaos, Paddy himself released a cryptic message that sent chills through the community. "They thought they could silence me. They thought I'd back down. But this is just the beginning. The truth will come out no matter the cost." The MMA world is now bracing for an unprecedented showdown, not inside the octagon, but in the courtroom, the boardrooms, and the court of public opinion. Dana White's empire, once thought untouchable, is cracking, and Paddy Pimblett has become the symbol of rebellion against a system many now see as broken. What's next? Will Paddy break the UFC apart from within? Will Dana White fight back or crumble under the pressure? And most importantly, who else is hiding in the shadows, ready to expose the next scandal?